This is Kevin Smith, and for all the people who follow us on what Talladega Needs is, as you've seen before, we're doing a lot of work on the square and historic Talladega. We're doing some things around the old Braswell Furniture Building, the old Standard Furniture Building. A lot of people are very positive what we're doing. We're working on Boswell's wings right now for the old North Street building, which is also one of the old post offices for the area. And we also are working on the far corner for what used to be the old Belt Hudson building, known as the Coleman Ballroom, Welch Coleman Ballroom. And then we just bought the old Isbell Bank building that we're going to do some work there. So a lot of people are very positive about what we've been doing, and because of that, Christy Cook and her family reached out to us, and Trey Miller, to come out here and take a look at this property because they saw what we were doing with some other historic properties. They're trying to get a historic marker out here, maybe get a grant to try to save some of the history in this area. So what we're looking at behind us, I'm going to let Christy just kind of tell you about how long her family had it, and I'll give you a little bit more history about it, and then we'll talk about some things that might be possible, what we could do to try to save this historic site and kind of do some build up and get another way for people back in the day. Just real quick, the Ridley family is originally who started this area as far as some of the grist mills in the area, and that was around 1843, 1844. They did about 3 grist mills, right? One of those got washed away or got destroyed, and there was only 2 of the other ones were left. This is one of the areas that was left. We have reason to believe that the one that got washed away actually is in the same site. So you would have had 2 of those grist mills, one getting washed away and then it would be rebuilt again. So that history being here on the same area. You can see there's a creek out to the side. We'll do a pan around in a minute. What you see behind us though is this old covered bridge. It's one of maybe 11, is that right?
11.
There's only 11 covered bridges. Is that in the state of Alabama?
In the state of Alabama.
So in the state of Alabama, and it's probably the second oldest from what we could tell as far as it, and it's probably going to need a little bit of work, and that's something that we're going to get with some of our friends who do structural engineering, especially for old bridges, and we're going to look at some of our friends with the Talladega College, and they have a great group that, such as Cedric Hill, who they do a lot of grant writing for the college and trying to save some of their historic buildings. So we're going to try to leverage them in a partnership to take a look at maybe putting together a grant for trying to save this bridge. So I'm going to let Christy Cook and Toby Cook, this family, give you an idea of how long they've had it. There's also the Old Mill restaurant and kind of how that came about with their family.
Hello, I'm Christy Cook, and this is my husband Toby. My family purchased the restaurant in 1995. And we operated the restaurant for around 5 years, and then in the meantime we've leased it out to several people. Toby and I retired and decided to come out here and start the Old Mill restaurant and wedding venue up. And in the process of doing so, we've realized that our bridge is starting to fall a little bit, and we wanted to preserve this. It is so important to our history and to Talladega.
So tell me a little bit about why you think this site with probably more about the number of bridges. That's something you told me was very unique to the state of Alabama.
We are one of the only places in America, I think we are the only place in America from what we understand, that has 3 bridges on the same property that are still in place that you can see. The original from the 1800s, then when you pan around you'll see we have a bridge from the 1900s, and then the most recent, which was built in the 2000s.
So that you'd be able to see the history of kind of bridge making in the area, which is pretty unique. And then when we were talking about, you wanted to do almost like a wedding venue out here. Anything, and you've had people come from all over the world, it sounds like, out here to look at this bridge.
Within the last month, we have had people from Australia, England, and they choose to come here because they don't want to see other places. They come to the South because they want to see history. They want to see United States history. And if we could just capture this, it would be so wonderful. So
when you were looking at the history of this and this bridge particularly, there was some famous guests that that probably have come through this area before. Can you name one of them for me? Teddy
Roosevelt came through. He was on the train coming through, I believe headed to Chandler Springs, Claremont Springs, and from what I understand, Teddy Roosevelt visited this area.
So tell me about that Claremont Springs and Chandler Springs. What was the significance of people coming, like let's say they were on the railroad and they were coming through? Did you get any stories about that or anything you want to share?
Yes, in the late 1800s, the ladies in Talladega would come out and spend the week during the summer at Claremont Springs, which had, I want to say, 7 or 9 healing springs. So So they would come and spend the week with their children, and then on the weekends, the husbands would come out, and they would call ahead on the train to the Claremont Springs Hotel and let them know how many chickens to kill.
Wow.
That has always been like a little inner joke. Tell them, you know, how many chickens to kill, because they were coming out on the weekend to eat, and so that was a big weekend.
So they would notify
spot.
them to, you know, to prep everything and get ready for the people who are coming.
Exactly.
So one of the things we looked at with when the Ridleys had this, later on it became like the Old Mill restaurant, things that, I mean, there's, yeah, I think Trey's going to do some follow-up videos later, and he's going to show you some historic pictures here. You'll be able to see like the mill restaurant, some of the stuff's still intact. Toby can walk you through some of the things as far as the way that the mill was run, about how they used to grind up everything to make their syrup. They used to have the sorghum syrup festivals out here. One of the things back in the day we learned at the Ridley family, I think the husband played the fiddle, and I think the wife played the piano. So this was kind of a social gathering place back then. And people would come out here and they would do all types of events, whether it be something like, you know, equivalent to horseshoes or dances and square dancing, things like that. But this was more of a socializing area, and it sounds like that you guys are basically trying to bring it back to what it used to be.
Yes.
And that would be a great, and one of the things that I heard Governor Ivey talk about, we just recently, like as of yesterday, we come back and we're at the racetrack here in Talladega, and they just released that they're doing a huge expansion. And Governor Ivey mentioned about the economic footprint of that, and they couldn't understate enough or overstate the fact that all of that tourism that, say, Talladega Superspeedway brings to the area, and about the importance of actually that tourism to the state of Alabama, whether it be for fishing or recreation or entertainment. So this would be one of those other areas where we're getting people. I think she mentioned yesterday with the racetrack, they're bringing in about 70% of their people are coming in from outside the state to see that. Now when they get here, after they enjoy the race, or if they get here earlier, they want to go see some of the things around the area. What makes this Talladega? What makes this, you know, this Waldo area, Talladega County? What makes it the place that that it is today? Just like they say, when they say Talladega, you don't have to wonder about you know, what NASCAR is. It'll tell you that. So when you come to a place like this, when you're out here at the old grist mill and you see this old covered bridge and you see the other bridge, there's a history of that, and you can walk around and you see the creek and you kind of see some of that history, how it's preserved. You just see this and you know what Talladega is. You know what Waldo is. You know what Talladega County is. You know what these counties are, and you get that history. So what we're going to try to do is connect you with one of my friends from the college that works with the grants, and then we're also going to connect you with one of the engineers that I know that his firm has recently worked on a structural bridge like this, like an old cover bridge in the area, and that's Jeremy Deal. Cedric Hill would be the gentleman from, and I can't say enough about Cedric Hill. I met him and met Dr. Hawkins from the college, and these guys have done such a great job of bringing up that historic college and just bringing in investments and trying to build up that area and build up Talladega. And I really appreciate you following us. The way that I came out here, it was I got an appeal video that was done where there was an interview by Trey and Christy, and they did a video and they showed this, and they're like, you know, we really would like you to come out here and take a look at it, and you know, you can't refuse if somebody does that. So I really appreciate you following what we do, and I appreciate everyone that likes the work and the positive thoughts that we get. We did some tours the other day about the buildings in Talladega on the square, and this will be a great place to also come out, take a tour, see what you're doing, support what you're doing. Maybe we could do everything from a GoFundMe. There's some other things, but try to get these grants done, get a marker out here. We'll clean this area up right here, put a plaque there. People come here from all over the world. Take a picture in front of one of the few covered bridges and one of the second oldest ones in the state of Alabama. So I thank you for taking time to look at our video. Thank Trey for doing the video. And I thank Christy and Toby and their family for what they're doing out here to save this piece of Alabama.
And we thank you very much. We appreciate everything that you're doing for Talladega.
Thank you, Toby.
Thank you so much.
All right, you have a great day. Look forward to seeing more of the videos and more of the work by Trey, and more to come from Christy and Toby and their family.
We look forward to seeing you. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.